The Kansas City Chiefs are in a great position to win the NFL Super Bowl again. It's starting to feel normal for them to be Super Bowl favorites. They've already won back-to-back titles, and now they're 15-1, chasing a third straight championship. Some people believe the Chiefs can't win 3 Super Bowls in a row because, well, that's just something that hasn't happened before in the NFL. But I think that's a pretty weak argument. After all, there's a first time for everything. Just because it hasn't happened before doesn't mean it can't happen now. Looking at how the Chiefs have been playing, they've been dominating. Sure, Patrick Mahomes might not be having his best year statistically, but that's mainly because he struggled a bit early in the season. However, he turned things around big time toward the end. In his last game, he threw for 320 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions. That's elite performance. Patrick Mahomes is definitely back, and the Kansas City Chiefs are looking strong. They finished the season 15-1. The offense could have been better, but it's still solid. They're 11th in points per game, 10th in passing yards, 17th in rushing yards, and 10th in touchdowns. So, the offense is in the top 15, but we're so used to the Chiefs being a high-scoring, explosive team. For example, the Lions score 33 points per game, and we're used to the Chiefs doing something similar. On the other hand, the defense has been amazing. They rank second in least points allowed, 14th in passing yards allowed, and third in rushing yards allowed. They don't let running backs get too far, and they've been tough on opposing offenses, allowing only a few touchdowns. When you look at the Chiefs, it's clear they have a lot of experience on their side. They've got veterans who've been here before, and that's a huge advantage. Players like DeAndre Hopkins, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, Kareem Hunt, and Juju have all won championships. That kind of experience sets them apart from the competition. I have to mention DeAndre Hopkins again because he's still chasing his first Super Bowl ring, and Hollywood Brown is in the same boat. Both of them are hungry for success and are ready to step up in the playoffs. On defense, the Chiefs have players who can make big plays when it matters, like Jamari Connor, Trent McDuffie, Nick Bolton, Justin Reed, Brian Cook, and Chris Jones. With all these weapons on both offense and defense, plus the greatest play caller of all time in Andy Reid, it's hard to argue that the Chiefs aren't the team most likely to win the Super Bowl. Now, if you've been paying attention, you've probably noticed a big change in the Chiefs' defense. Over the first 14 weeks of the season, they only forced 10 turnovers, but in their last 3 games, just an 11-day stretch, they forced 9 turnovers. That's a huge turnaround. The Chiefs have a plus 10 turnover differential during that stretch, and unsurprisingly, they won all 3 games by a combined total of 41 points. The real story for the Chiefs this season has been their ability to win close games. They've won 11 one-score games in 2024, which shows how efficient they are. Even though their offense doesn't always make big plays, they've been able to get the job done in tight situations. The Chiefs' defense had struggled to create turnovers earlier in the season, and in today's NFL, it's tough to win with an offense that's not putting up big plays. But now, with the defense starting to create turnovers and the offense beginning to look explosive, the Chiefs are starting to look really dangerous. That could be a huge factor in helping them win the Super Bowl. The turning point came in Week 15 against the Cleveland Browns. After struggling with just one takeaway in 2 tough games against divisional rivals, the Raiders and the Chargers, the Chiefs suddenly exploded for 5 turnovers against the Browns. The final takeaway came when linebacker Leo Chanel punched the ball out of Nick Chubb's arm, and that big play set the tone for the game. It sparked a shift in momentum for the Chiefs' defense. One of the best ways to help an offense that's struggling is by giving it more chances to score. In those last few games, the Chiefs turned 9 turnovers into 4 scoring opportunities. They scored 7 points against Cleveland, 10 at home against the Texans, and 7 more in Pittsburgh. That's a total of 24 points. When you look at it, points from turnovers have made up 60% of the 41-point combined margin of victory over the past 3 weeks. And of course, with Patrick Mahomes leading the charge, things are looking very promising. The Kansas City Chiefs are making the most of turnovers, capitalizing on them 45% of the time. That's why, in the playoffs, it's going to be tough to stop this team, especially with the home field advantage and extra chances to score. With the defense creating turnovers, it's going to be almost impossible to stop the Chiefs. If you look at the Chiefs' last 2 Super Bowl wins, turnovers played a huge role. In 2022, the Chiefs had a plus 4 turnover differential, and in 2023, it was +2. Last season, they only scored 3 points off turnovers in the playoffs, but they still managed to stop 2 opponent scores with takeaways near the end zone during the AFC Championship game against the Baltimore Ravens. The Chiefs have been fortunate to have strong defense during these Super Bowl runs, along with the amazing play of Patrick Mahomes and the offensive firepower the Chiefs bring in the playoffs. This season, the Chiefs' pass rush got even better with the return of Charles Omenihu. Joshua Williams has also stepped up, providing better coverage on the outside. The front four is putting more pressure on quarterbacks, and the back end of the defense is playing more aggressively. 6 of the 9 turnovers in the last 3 games have come from the Chiefs' defensive backs. Rookie safety Jaden Hicks has been a revelation, stepping up in the absence of other key players. Jaden Hicks has been a revelation in the absence of Jamari Conner. He's recorded interceptions in the last 2 games, alongside Brian Cook and Justin Reed. It's great to see the defense stepping up like that. The Chiefs have secured the top seed and now have a chance to get even healthier on defense. On offense, everyone who was a little banged up has had time to rest. In the NFL, you're always dealing with something, so this break is a big boost. Chris Jones missed the Christmas Day game with a grade 1 calf strain. Mike Pennell came out of the Pittsburgh game with a hamstring injury, but he's back now. Jamari Conner is dealing with a concussion. Luckily, with 23 days between now and their next meaningful game, all 3 of these guys should be ready for the divisional round in the 3rd week of January. Having a fully rested Chiefs team is a huge factor in why they have a real shot at making it to the Super Bowl. So, yeah, my prediction is clear. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl this year. I'd rather not play the Eagles again, and it's good we won't have to face the 49ers. But if we end up playing the Eagles again, we'll beat them again. Honestly, I'd love to see a fresh matchup, maybe against the Detroit Lions, the Vikings, or even the Packers, though I'm not sure it'll be the Packers. This has been your boy, Chiefs Priority. Peace. We're winning it all this year.